Hi, I'm Colonel Kelly Howard, and I'm here today with Crystal, who is in her second trimester, and Ashley, who is in her third. This is a tactical mobility, active recovery, and mindfulness session for pregnancy and postpartum physical training. This sequence in particular is for general pregnancy discomfort. The days that you aren't feeling your best, that you're really adjusting to the changes in your body and your growing baby, and you want to move, but you want it to be a little easier and a little shorter as well. So some reminders here just to listen to your body and modify as needed. Number 2, to maintain a focus on your breath. A gentle inhale and exhale to keep you and baby calm. This is a moving mindfulness. And the third is just really having the intention of relaxing and practicing self-compassion and nurturing during this special time. So we'll begin with some breath awareness, beginning in a comfortable seated position. And for you, that might mean your legs are straight out or your hands are behind you to provide some support. If you have props, you can also be lying down if that feels good, but sometimes as baby gets larger, it doesn't feel as good to be on our backs in the second and third trimester. So in our comfortable seats, whatever that means to you, allow the eyes to close or the gaze to soften. And just taking a moment here to pause and notice our internal sensations, how our body feels, any emotions we can identify, any thoughts in our mind. And seeing if we can notice these things without any judgment or putting a good or a bad label on them. Just noticing. And then turning our attention to our breath. So in this practice, keeping a steady inhale and exhale through the nose. This helps warm and filter the air. It also helps us breathe in the way that our bodies were intended to breathe. As you inhale, try to direct your breath into your lower lungs, your belly. And as you exhale, perhaps feel a lift of the pelvic floor as the air comes back out of the nose. The breath is the priority for this entire practice. So if you notice that you need to back off, or take a break, or come to child's pose, or lie down, honor how you're feeling and honor your breath. And lastly, before we start moving, perhaps choose to set an intention for your personal practice today. Maybe bringing the hands to heart center and considering the kind of energy that you want to bring into your space on the mat. Maybe creating a sense of peace or calm for yourself or baby. Maybe it's acceptance of the body for exactly where it is and how it feels right now. Maybe it's to connect with baby. It really could be anything. Just being purposeful about this time on your mat. Take another breath. And then slowly allow the eyes to open. And make your way onto all fours in a tabletop position. The hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And then spread the knees wide apart on your mat and bring your hips back to your heels for child's pose. So it might feel good if you have blocks available to you to place 1 or 2 blocks underneath the forehead If you don't have blocks, you can bring your forearms in and allow your forehead to rest there. Alternately, you can make fists with your hands. But as the hips release back, it's important to allow the forehead to rest on something. This contact of the forehead into your mat or blocks or your hands or forearms helps send soothing signals to the nervous system. With each inhale, allowing the lungs to expand fully. With each exhale, releasing completely. And you can either stay here or move into a side stretch in child's pose. So if you'd like to move into that, moving the blocks or hands or forearms out of the way and just gently walking your hands over to the right side of your mat. Just feeling a nice stretch from your left fingertips to your left hip crease. Allowing the forehead to rest on the floor if that's available to you. You can also use a block here if that helps. And if you don't have a block, you can use a box or books or a blanket or pillow. Lots of different alternatives if you don't have props. And then slowly walk the hands back to center. And maybe over to the left. So right arm reaches forward. Long line from right fingers to right hip crease. Head and neck relax. Steady inhale. Steady exhale. Very slowly walking the hands back to the center of the mat. On an inhale, lift the hips up and come back into tabletop with the knees underneath the hip and the hands underneath the shoulders. We begin some very gentle cat and cows here. So taking a breath in and then exhaling that breath, round the spine, tuck the tailbone and chin. As you inhale, neutralize the low back and gaze up with the chin and chest. So often in cow pose, we will arch our back and lift the tailbone. But since there's already so much of that arching action going on in pregnancy with baby pulling down, we want to neutralize the pelvis instead and just gaze up with our chin and chest. So going at your own pace, exhaling into each cat pose with a rounded spine, tucked chin and tailbone, and inhaling into each cow pose. Just matching movement and breath here, making this practice a moving form of mindfulness. If you notice thoughts come into the mind, just guide the focus back to the breath, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. And perhaps take one more of each. Ending with a cat pose. And then finding a neutral spine. All right, from our neutral spine, we'll move into extended spine. So extend the left leg out behind you. You move any props out of the way. Keep the toes tucked under and just enjoy a nice calf stretch here. Feel an engagement of the core, a movement of the belly button towards the spine, a hugging in of the transverse abdominis that surrounds your abdomen like a corset. And either staying here or lifting the left leg, pressing through the ball of the back foot, or flexing the foot, whatever feels best to you. The back of the neck is long, so the gaze is down. And either stay here, or if you feel like your balance is good today, reach the right arm forward. So pressing through the ball of the back foot, reaching through the fingertips. Trying to see how much space we can create between each vertebra, while keeping our breath steady and calm. Good. Place it all down. And we'll take a few side to sides before we move to the other side. So turn and gaze out at your right hip, moving your right hip to the side, and then your left hip, and just rocking the hips side to side. If more of a circular motion feels better, bringing some rotations into the hips or shoulders, you can go for that. We all have different bodies and are in different stages of pregnancy, so this will look different for everyone. Just trying to nurture our bodies and move it in a way that feels good. And finding stillness once more, we'll go to the right side now. First, extending the right leg back, toes curled under, and feel the back of the calf stretch. Back of the neck is long, core is engaged, a gentle lifting to support the spine. And if you'd like to go further, you can lift the right leg, pressing through the ball of the back foot, or flexing and pushing through the heel, your choice. And if the breath is calm and steady here, and you would like to move this more into a full balance, you can lift the left arm, reaching through the fingertips, pressing through the foot, creating space while engaging the core at the same time. Good. And place it down. Release the knee back down. And my ladies, like a puppy pose with the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And walk the hands forward, allowing the torso and chest to come down towards the ground. Now a block can feel really nice here underneath the head. So this is similar to child's pose, except our hips are higher in the air. They are not reaching towards our heels. The hips are lifted, and we're just releasing the chest down. Steady inhale. Steady exhale. Then on your next inhale, start to walk the hands up. And once more with the hands underneath the shoulders in this tabletop position, we'll move into threading the needle. So taking the right side first, move the left hand a little closer to center for support. And inhale, reach the right arm to the sky, or just right elbow or right hand to right shoulder if it doesn't feel good to reach. And then with the right palm up, thread the needle, moving the right hand under the arm, come onto the right shoulder, allowing the head to rest on the mat. So we all have a different sweet spot here. It might feel good to roll more onto the shoulder or back off. It may feel good to extend the left leg behind you to create more space for the belly. Just find something tangible here. Make sure it's manageable and breathe calmly through it. On your next inhale, press the left hand down, and inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky, gentle twist, not too far, and then replace the right hand down on the mat. Moving into the left side, bring the right hand a little more towards center, feeling that firm foundation, all 5 fingers pressing. Then inhale, reach the left arm up, or left hand to shoulder, gentle twist. And then left palm faces up as you thread the needle and come onto the left shoulder. You can see Crystal here using a block underneath her shoulder to bring the floor a little bit closer to her. It's fantastic making the pose your own and finding a way to feel comfortable in every pose. Steady inhales, steady exhales. Next inhale, right hand presses down, reach the left arm to the sky. Gentle counter twist. And place left hand down on the mat. Both feet come out to the side or come to seated any way you like. We'll first come to a cross-legged position. The shins don't need to be exactly crisscrossed. If it feels better to have the legs out. I'm just going to do a seated spinal twist here. So on an inhale, reach both arms to the sky. And as you exhale, hands to shoulders, turn towards the right. So a similar twisting motion that we just sit and thread the needle. Just getting it from a different angle this time. With each inhale, maybe imagine yourself getting a little taller, the crown of the head a little bit closer to the ceiling. With each exhale, be enjoying a little bit deeper of a gentle twist. Next inhale, reach the arms up. And let's take the other side on the exhale, hands to shoulders. You may also choose to place one hand on baby here if that feels good. Whatever helps you feel most connected to your body and your baby. Good. Next inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, release the hands down. Coming into bound angle pose, a block is lovely here if you have one to place in between your feet. If you don't have one, that's totally fine. I'm going to demo it without it. But we're just pressing our feet into the block, giving a stretch for our inner thighs. This can be a great pose to add a few Kegels into if you are so inclined. As you inhale, relaxing the pelvic floor, and as you exhale, pulling up. Inhale, relaxing and expanding. Exhaling, contracting and lifting. For some women, movement feels good here, almost flapping the knees like a butterfly, the wings of a butterfly. That doesn't feel great to me, so I'm typically still, but know that that's an option and know that you always have permission to move in the way that feels best to you. This is a stretch that helps relieve tension in the hips and pelvis, which can definitely increase during pregnancy. All right, next we will move into our back bend and heart opener. So we have Crystal doing a supported bridge here, and Ashley will be doing a camel pose. Both the same, just in different directions. So if you're doing a supported bridge, which is nice, it's a very passive form of a hip opener, you'll lower yourself down onto your backs. With the feet hips width apart, press the heels down to lift the hips and place a block underneath your sacrum, either on the lowest height or, if it feels good, on the medium height to lift higher. And once you have your spot, just allow the body to be passive, to passively open. If it doesn't feel good to be on your back or to have a block on your back, you will look more like Ashley here. So the knees underneath the hips, the hands on the low back, fingers pointing up, and just giving some gentle pressure into the low back, lifting the sternum, gazing up. Again, keeping that steady inhale, steady exhale. And you will come out the same way you came in if you're in camel, lifting up to come out and coming to seated. So if you are already on the ground, stay on the ground. We're going to move into a side lying position. So supporting ourselves on the way down, rolling to our right side first, bringing the right knee into a bent position, allowing the left leg to be long. Extend the left arm up, feeling a stretch the entire side body. And it can also feel good to be very passive here, just to allow the arm to relax down to the ear. And just feeling a gentle opening in the left side body. Inhaling gently through the nose. Exhaling gently through the nose. And then bending the left arm, pressing the left hand down, come onto your backs and roll to the other side. So left knee bent this time, right leg straight. Both arms reaching up. Either making this a more active side stretch, pressing through the heel of the foot or the ball of the foot, pulling through the fingertips, or just relaxing down after you've made that space. And we'll move here into our final relaxation. So the only difference might be that you bend the right knee, coming into more of a fetal position, perhaps placing the right hand down on the mat to support you. Allow your head to rest on the left arm. Just taking a few moments here before you proceed with the rest of your day to be still. A few moments to connect with baby. It might be nice to place a hand on your belly if that feels right to you. It's a time of quiet. with each breath. Knowing that your body is doing everything it can to support your baby. And in doing a practice like this, you're doing what you can to support yourself. You're welcome to stay here if you have extra time, but if you need to move on with the rest of your day, press the right hand down into the mat and slowly and gently come up to a seated position with the eyes closed and the spine tall. Just take a deep breath and allow any remaining tension that you might have to dissolve. Bringing the hands together at heart center, thank yourself for taking this time to care for yourself and care for your baby. Knowing that self-care is an essential part of your pregnancy journey and your motherhood journey. Another inhale, another exhale. Release the hands down and allow the eyes to open. You've got this, ladies. Thank you.